Question 1. A project manager is leading a global team working on a highly innovative product development, utilizing an agile approach. During a sprint, a key team member raises concerns that the current product increment does not fully align with the initial vision, suggesting a significant reevaluation is needed. The product owner, however, insists on proceeding as planned to meet a tight market deadline. What should the project manager do first? A. Facilitate a discussion between the team member and the product owner to resolve the misalignment. B. Direct the team member to follow the product owner's instructions to maintain the sprint schedule. C. Escalate the conflict to senior management for a definitive decision on the product vision. D. Document the concern and inform the stakeholder management team about the potential scope deviation. Answer: A. Facilitate a discussion between the team member and the product owner to resolve the misalignment. In an agile environment, the project manager, often acting as a servant leader, should prioritize facilitating communication and collaboration to resolve issues at the lowest possible level. The core concept here is empowered teams and self-organization, where direct dialogue between the team member, who has crucial insight into the product increment, and the product owner, who defines the vision and priorities, is the most effective first step. This approach allows for a shared understanding and collaborative problem-solving, aligning with the people-performance domain emphasis on building high-performing teams. By fostering direct communication, the project manager helps the team reach a consensus or clarify the path forward without unnecessary escalation, promoting transparency and trust. Question 2. A project to upgrade critical infrastructure is nearing its final phases, but significant technical issues have been identified that could impact the system's long-term reliability. The project manager's team has proposed a workaround to meet the current deadline, but this would defer a more robust solution to a post-implementation phase. The primary sponsor is strongly pushing for the initial deadline, citing contractual penalties. What should the project manager prioritize? A. Implementing the workaround to meet the deadline and avoid contractual penalties. B. Communicating the risks of the workaround to the sponsor and advocating for a delay to implement a robust solution. C. Delegating the decision to the project team to choose the best technical path forward. D. Escalating the issue to senior management to override the sponsor's deadline. Answer: B. Communicating the risks of the workaround to the sponsor and advocating for a delay to implement a robust solution. The project manager's primary responsibility in this scenario is to ensure project delivery aligns with quality and reliability expectations, even under pressure. While meeting deadlines is important, delivering a system with known reliability issues carries significant long-term risks, which falls under the uncertainty and delivery performance domains. The project manager must act as a trusted advisor, transparently communicating the implications of the workaround versus a robust solution to the sponsor, empowering them to make an informed decision based on a full understanding of the trade-offs. This proactive communication ensures that all stakeholders are aware of potential future problems and can jointly decide on the best path for organizational value. Question 3. A project team is developing a new mobile application using a hybrid approach, combining Agile for the user-facing features and predictive for the back-end infrastructure. During a stakeholder review of an early prototype, several key stakeholders expressed confusion about the application's core value proposition and request significant changes to the user flow. The project manager needs to ensure the project remains aligned with business objectives. What is the best next step for the project manager? A. Schedule a dedicated workshop with the key stakeholders and the product owner to refine the product vision and backlog. B. Document all feedback and forward it to the development team to incorporate into the next sprint. C. Explain to the stakeholders that changes will be prioritized based on the original project charter and scope baseline. D. Conduct a root cause analysis to understand why stakeholders are misinterpreting the application's value. Answer: A. Schedule a dedicated workshop with the key stakeholders and the product owner to refine the product vision and backlog. When stakeholders express significant confusion about the core value of a product, especially early in development, it signals a critical misalignment that needs immediate attention. The stakeholder and delivery performance domains emphasize continuous engagement and ensuring the project delivers value. A workshop involving key stakeholders and the product owner is the most effective approach to collaboratively refine the product vision, clarify the value proposition, and adjust the backlog to ensure everyone is aligned. This interactive session fosters shared understanding and allows for quick adaptation, which is crucial in a hybrid environment where user feedback drives feature development. Question 4. In an Agile project, the team is consistently delivering increments that meet the definition of done. However, the business stakeholders feel that the delivered features, while functional, are not addressing the most critical user needs as quickly as anticipated, leading to dissatisfaction. The project manager notices that the team's velocity is stable. What is the most likely cause of this disconnect? A. The team is not performing thorough enough quality assurance on their deliverables. B. The product owner is not effectively prioritizing the backlog to reflect the highest business value. C. The project manager has failed to communicate the project's progress adequately to stakeholders. D. The team is experiencing technical debt that is slowing down feature delivery. Answer: B. The product owner is not effectively prioritizing the backlog to reflect the highest business value. Even with a stable velocity and features meeting the definition of done, if stakeholders are dissatisfied because the most critical user needs are not being met, it points directly to an issue with prioritization. The delivery performance domain highlights the importance of delivering value, and the product owner is primarily responsible for maximizing the value of the product by effectively managing and prioritizing the product backlog. This includes engaging with stakeholders to understand their evolving needs and translating those into actionable backlog items. The team is delivering efficiently, but if they are building the wrong things first from a business perspective, value delivery will be perceived as low. Question 5. A project manager is reviewing the earned value performance for a long-term infrastructure project. The current status shows a cost performance index, CPI, of 0.85 and a schedule performance index, SPI, of 0.90. The project is already halfway through its planned duration. What does this information conceptually indicate about the project's current state? A. The project is ahead of schedule and under budget. B. The project is behind schedule and over budget. C. The project is ahead of schedule but over budget. D. The project is behind schedule but under budget. Answer: B. The project is behind schedule and over budget. Earned Value Management, EVM, metrics provide a quantitative measure of project performance against the baseline, crucial for the measurement performance domain. Conceptually, a cost performance index, CPI, less than 1.0, 0.85 in this case, indicates that the project is over budget because it is costing more than planned for the work completed. Similarly, a schedule performance index, SPI, less than 1.0, 0.90 in this case, signifies that the project is behind schedule, as less work has been completed than planned by this point. Both indices below 1.0 are clear indicators of underperformance in terms of both cost and schedule efficiency. Question 6. A project manager has identified a significant risk that could severely impact the project's critical path. The team has developed a detailed risk response plan, which includes mitigation strategies and a contingency reserve. However, the risk event is entirely outside the project's direct control, such as a new government regulation. What is the most appropriate strategy for this specific type of risk, in addition to the response plan? A. Accept the risk and monitor it, as it cannot be controlled. B. Escalate the risk to the project sponsor and key stakeholders for their awareness and potential influence. C. Purchase insurance to cover potential financial losses from the regulation. D. Redesign the project scope to entirely bypass the potential impact of the regulation. Answer: B. Escalate the risk to the project sponsor and key stakeholders for their awareness and potential influence. When a significant risk is identified that is beyond the project team's direct control, the project manager's responsibility extends beyond simply developing a response plan, aligning with the uncertainty and stakeholder performance domains. Escalating the risk to the project sponsor and other key stakeholders is crucial because they may have the authority, influence, or resources outside the project to address the root cause or exert pressure that the project team cannot. This proactive communication ensures that those with broader organizational influence are informed and can potentially intervene, turning an external threat into an opportunity for strategic action. Question 7. A project team is struggling with frequent changes to requirements, leading to rework and missed sprint goals. The project manager, acting as a servant leader, observes that these changes often originate from a vocal group of stakeholders who are not directly involved in daily stand-ups or sprint reviews. What is the best approach for the project manager to address this issue? A. Restrict communication from external stakeholders to the product owner only to streamline requirement gathering. B. Facilitate a meeting with the product owner and the key external stakeholders to establish a clear communication plan and feedback loop. C. Remind the team to strictly adhere to the baseline requirements and reject any new requests unless formally approved. D. Advise the product owner to stop engaging with external stakeholders to prevent further scope creep. Answer. B. Facilitate a meeting with the product owner and the key external stakeholders to establish a clear communication plan and feedback loop. Frequent, unmanaged changes from external stakeholders indicate a breakdown in stakeholder engagement and communication, a critical aspect of the stakeholder and process performance domains. The project manager, acting as a servant leader in an agile context, should facilitate rather than dictate. Establishing a clear communication plan and feedback loop ensures that all relevant stakeholders are engaged appropriately, their input is received through the product owner, and changes are channeled through the product backlog in a structured manner. This approach mitigates disruption, fosters collaboration, and ensures that requirements evolve in a controlled way that minimizes rework. Question 8. A newly formed Agile team is experiencing some interpersonal conflicts and a lack of clear ownership over certain tasks, despite having well-defined roles: product owner, scrum master, development team. The project manager, acting as a coach, wants to foster better collaboration and self-organization. Which of the following activities would be most beneficial in this situation? A. Conduct a team-building exercise focusing on individual strengths and weaknesses. B. Implement a stricter task assignment process during sprint planning to avoid ambiguity. C. Facilitate a working session to create a team working agreement or team charter. D. Request the Scrum Master to assign tasks to individual team members to ensure accountability. Answer. C. Facilitate a working session to create a team working agreement or team charter. Interpersonal conflicts and a lack of clear ownership within a newly formed team often stem from undefined norms and expectations, which directly impact the team performance domain. Facilitating a session to create a team working agreement or team charter is highly effective because it allows the team to collectively define its operating guidelines, communication protocols, conflict resolution processes, and shared responsibilities. This collaborative effort fosters a sense of ownership, accountability, and mutual respect, thereby laying a strong foundation for self-organization and high performance. It empowers the team to solve its own problems rather than relying on external intervention for every issue. Question 9. A project manager is leading a predictive project with strict regulatory compliance requirements. During an internal audit, it's discovered that a third-party vendor providing a critical component has not fully adhered to all the necessary quality standards as stipulated in their contract. The project schedule is already tight. What should the project manager do first? A. Immediately terminate the contract with the vendor and find a new supplier. B. Document the non-compliance and issue a formal warning to the vendor, requesting a corrective action plan. C. Inform the regulatory authorities about the potential non-compliance to avoid future penalties. D. Work with the project team to find an alternative component or modify the existing one to meet standards internally. Answer: B. Document the non-compliance and issue a formal warning to the vendor, requesting a corrective action plan. When a third-party vendor fails to meet contractual obligations related to quality standards, the project manager's immediate focus, consistent with the process and project work performance domains, should be on formal communication and resolution within the existing contractual framework. The first step is to formally document the non-compliance and issue a warning, requesting a corrective action plan. This initiates the contractual dispute resolution process, clearly establishes the issue, and gives the vendor an opportunity to rectify the problem, which is often the most efficient path forward to ensure compliance and avoid further delays. Question 10. A large, complex project is suffering from frequent scope creep and stakeholder dissatisfaction, even though a detailed scope baseline was established and approved. The project manager observes that various stakeholders are frequently making informal requests for additional features directly to development team members, bypassing the change control process. What is the most effective long-term solution? A. Hold a series of individual meetings with key stakeholders to reiterate the change control process and its importance. B. Implement a more rigorous change control board, CCB, with higher approval thresholds for all changes. C. Conduct a stakeholder analysis to identify influential stakeholders and develop a tailored engagement strategy. D. Instruct the development team to politely decline all direct requests and refer stakeholders to the project manager. Answer: C. Conduct a stakeholder analysis to identify influential stakeholders and develop a tailored engagement strategy. Unmanaged scope creep and stakeholder dissatisfaction, especially due to informal requests bypassing formal processes, indicate an underlying issue with stakeholder engagement, a core tenet of the stakeholder performance domain. The most effective long-term solution is to conduct a thorough stakeholder analysis to understand their influence, interest, and communication preferences. Based on this, a tailored engagement strategy can be developed to ensure all stakeholders are appropriately involved and informed, channeling their input through established processes. This proactive approach addresses the root cause by fostering better relationships and setting clear expectations for interaction, rather than simply enforcing rules. Question 11. An Agile project team has consistently high velocity and delivers working software every sprint. However, the product owner is concerned that the product is not gaining market traction as expected, despite positive feedback from early users. What aspect of the project should the project manager and product owner investigate most closely? A. The efficiency of the development process and continuous integration practices. B. The effectiveness of stakeholder communication and feedback loops. C. The alignment of the product backlog items with the overarching business strategy and market needs. D. The team's adherence to the definition of done and internal quality standards. Answer: C. The alignment of the product backlog items with the overarching business strategy and market needs. While high velocity, working software, and positive early user feedback are all good indicators of a healthy Agile process and team performance, market traction is about the ultimate business value and external impact, falling under the delivery and business environment performance domains. If market traction is lacking, it suggests a potential disconnect between what is being built and what the market truly needs or values. The product owner and project manager should closely investigate whether the prioritized product backlog items are genuinely aligned with the overarching business strategy, market demands, and customer problems that drive adoption and success. Question 12. During the execution of a project, a critical team member, who is also a subject matter expert, announces their immediate resignation. This individual was responsible for a unique technical solution that is currently in progress. The project manager needs to mitigate the impact on the project schedule and quality. What should the project manager do first? A. Immediately begin searching for an external replacement with similar expertise. B. Review the project's knowledge management plan and task assignments to identify cross-training opportunities or documentation. C. Inform the project sponsor about the departure and the potential for project delays. D. Offer a counteroffer or incentive to convince the team member to stay. Answer: B. Review the project's knowledge management plan and task assignments to identify cross-training opportunities or documentation. The immediate resignation of a critical subject matter expert presents a significant risk to the team and project work performance domains, particularly regarding continuity and knowledge transfer. The project manager's first priority should be to assess and mitigate the knowledge gap by reviewing existing documentation, work in progress, and any cross-training that may have occurred. This allows for an understanding of the immediate impact and helps to quickly identify internal resources who might be able to pick up the work, or at least document what is known, before external replacement options are explored. Effective knowledge management is crucial for project resilience. Question 13. A project manager is leading a global project with a geographically dispersed team. During daily stand-ups, some team members are consistently disengaged, and there's a perceived lack of psychological safety, leading to reluctance in sharing challenges or asking for help. This impacts collaboration and problem-solving. What is the most effective approach for the project manager to address this? A. Implement stricter guidelines for participation during stand-ups and assign specific roles to each team member. B. Schedule mandatory one-on-one video calls with disengaged team members to understand their concerns privately. C. Organize a virtual team-building workshop focused on establishing trust and creating a shared understanding of psychological safety. D. Provide advanced training on virtual collaboration tools to improve communication efficiency. Answer: C. Organize a virtual team-building workshop focused on establishing trust and creating a shared understanding of psychological safety. Disengagement and a lack of psychological safety, particularly in a geographically dispersed team, are core challenges for the team performance domain. While individual conversations can help, a systemic issue often requires a systemic solution. A virtual team-building workshop specifically focused on trust and psychological safety allows the entire team to collectively address these underlying issues, define what psychological safety means to them, and establish norms for open communication and mutual support. This collaborative approach helps create a more inclusive environment where team members feel comfortable sharing challenges, leading to improved collaboration and problem-solving. Question 14. A project manager is overseeing a product development effort using a lean startup approach, focusing on validated learning. The team has developed a minimum viable product, MVP, and launched it to a small group of early adopters. Initial user feedback is positive for the core features, but there's a strong demand for additional features that were intentionally excluded from the MVP. The project budget and timeline are already constrained. What should the project manager and product owner do next? A. Prioritize the most requested additional features and add them to the next iteration of the product backlog. B. Conduct further market research and user interviews to validate the demand for the additional features and their potential business value. C. Explain to the users that the MVP serves its purpose and additional features are not within the current scope. D. Seek additional funding and extend the timeline to accommodate the new feature requests. Answer: B. Conduct further market research and user interviews to validate the demand for the additional features and their potential business value. In a lean startup environment, the focus is on validated learning, which is a key aspect of the delivery performance domain. While positive feedback on an MVP is great, strong demand for additional features, especially under budget and timeline constraints, requires careful evaluation. The project manager and product owner should next conduct further market research and user interviews to rigorously validate the demand for these new features, assess their true business value, and understand how they align with the overall product strategy. This step ensures that future development efforts are based on concrete evidence, rather than anecdotal requests, maximizing the return on investment and mitigating scope creep. Question 15. A project is using a Kanban approach for continuous delivery of enhancements to an existing system. The team is consistently experiencing bottlenecks at the testing stage, leading to a buildup of work in progress, WIP, and delayed releases. The project manager needs to address this issue without disrupting the flow of value. What is the most appropriate action? A. Introduce a stricter definition of done that requires developers to conduct more thorough unit testing before passing work to QA. B. Add more resources, testers, to the testing stage to increase capacity and clear the bottleneck. C. Facilitate a team discussion during a retrospective to identify the root causes of the bottleneck and explore process improvements. D. Reprioritize the work-in-progress items, moving lower priority items out of the testing stage. Answer: C. Facilitate a team discussion during a retrospective to identify the root causes of the bottleneck and explore process improvements. In Kanban and other Agile approaches, bottlenecks are signals for process improvement, and addressing them falls within the process and team performance domains. The most effective approach is to leverage the team's collective intelligence through a retrospective or similar collaborative event. Facilitating a discussion helps the team identify the root causes of the bottleneck, e.g., inadequate test environments, complex code, insufficient automation, and collaboratively devise sustainable solutions that improve the flow. Simply adding resources or imposing stricter rules without understanding the underlying problem often leads to temporary fixes or new bottlenecks elsewhere. Question 16. A project manager is leading a complex project involving multiple vendors and technical integrations. The project has a fixed-price contract with a key vendor for a critical component. Mid-project, the vendor proposes a change order, stating that a newly discovered technical challenge requires additional work beyond the original scope and will incur extra cost. What should the project manager do first? A. Immediately reject the change request, citing the fixed-price contract. B. Engage the project team to independently verify the vendor's claim and assess the technical challenge. C. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor for guidance on how to proceed with the vendor. D. Approve the change request with the understanding that the extra cost will be negotiated later. Answer: B. Engage the project team to independently verify the vendor's claim and assess the technical challenge. When a vendor on a fixed-price contract requests additional cost for a newly discovered challenge, the project manager, aligned with the process and project work performance domains, must first validate the claim. Engaging the project team to independently verify the technical challenge is a critical first step. This ensures that the project manager has an objective understanding of the situation, the validity of the vendor's claim, and the potential impact before making any decisions, negotiating, or escalating. This due diligence protects the project's interests and provides a solid basis for any subsequent actions. Question 17. A large-scale organizational transformation project is underway, aiming to shift the company's culture towards greater agility and customer centricity. Many long-term employees are resistant to the changes, viewing them as disruptive to established processes and comfortable routines. The project manager recognizes this resistance could jeopardize the project's success. What is the most effective strategy to address this cultural resistance? A. Mandate participation in Agile training for all employees and establish penalties for non-compliance. B. Focus communication on the positive impacts of the change for the organization's long-term survival, overlooking individual concerns. C. Engage opinion leaders and change champions within the resistant groups to advocate for the new ways of working and address concerns. D. Redesign the transformation plan to align more closely with existing organizational structures and minimize disruption. Answer: C. Engage opinion leaders and change champions within the resistant groups to advocate for the new ways of working and address concerns. Cultural resistance is a common challenge in transformation projects, falling under the business environment and stakeholder performance domains. Simply mandating changes or focusing solely on organizational benefits often exacerbates resistance. The most effective strategy is to engage opinion leaders and change champions from within the resistant groups. These individuals already have trust and credibility with their peers, making them powerful advocates for the new ways of working. By involving them in addressing concerns and demonstrating the benefits, the project can foster internal buy-in and facilitate a more organic and sustainable adoption of the new culture. Question 18. A project manager is overseeing a complex software development project. During a sprint review, stakeholders express concern that while individual features are working, the overall user experience, UX, feels disconnected and inconsistent across the application. This was not explicitly detailed in the initial user stories. What should the project manager and product owner prioritize to resolve this? A. Add new user stories for UX consistency to the product backlog and prioritize them in upcoming sprints. B. Engage a UX specialist to conduct an audit of the current application and provide recommendations. C. Organize a workshop with the development team and key stakeholders to create a shared understanding of the desired UX vision. D. Revisit the definition of done to include specific criteria for overall user experience and design consistency. Answer: C. Organize a workshop with the development team and key stakeholders to create a shared understanding of the desired UX vision. When stakeholders perceive an inconsistent user experience despite individual features working, it indicates a lack of a unified UX vision that permeates the development process, impacting the delivery performance domain. Simply adding more user stories or conducting an audit might address symptoms but not the root cause. The most effective step is to bring together the development team and key stakeholders in a workshop. This collaborative session allows them to articulate, clarify, and agree upon a shared understanding of the desired overall user experience, ensuring that future development efforts are aligned towards a consistent and cohesive product. This also aligns with the team and stakeholder performance domains. Question 19. During a project retrospective, the Agile team identifies that they frequently overestimate story points for tasks involving complex integrations, leading to them falling behind on their sprint commitments. They also note that a small number of integration experts are consistently overloaded. What is the most effective action for the team to take to improve their estimation accuracy and reduce dependency? A. Encourage cross-functional training within the team, focusing on integration skills, to reduce reliance on specific experts. B. Adjust the story point estimations for integration tasks upwards by a fixed percentage in future sprints. C. Hire additional integration experts to augment the existing team and increase capacity. D. Isolate integration tasks into a separate, integration sprint, to be handled by the specialized experts. Answer: A. Encourage cross-functional training within the team, focusing on integration skills, to reduce reliance on specific experts. The team's observation of overloaded experts and frequent overestimation for complex integration tasks points to a dependency and knowledge silo issue, impacting the team and planning performance domains. While adjusting estimates or hiring more people might seem like quick fixes, the most effective long-term solution in an Agile environment is to build a more cross-functional team. Encouraging cross-functional training, specifically on integration skills, empowers more team members to tackle these complex tasks, reducing reliance on a few individuals, improving estimation accuracy through shared understanding, and fostering greater team resilience. Question 20. A large, multi-year construction project is facing increasing scrutiny from regulatory bodies due to concerns about environmental impact. The project manager had initially completed a thorough risk assessment, but environmental regulations have become significantly stricter since the project started. The project manager needs to address this emerging risk effectively. What should be the first step? A. Inform the regulatory bodies that the project is compliant with the original regulations at the time of approval. B. Update the risk register to include the new regulatory risk and its potential impact on the project. C. Develop a comprehensive mitigation plan to address all aspects of the new environmental regulations immediately. D. Halt all work on environmentally sensitive areas until new guidelines are fully understood and incorporated. Answer: B. Update the risk register to include the new regulatory risk and its potential impact on the project. When external factors, such as new government regulations, change significantly during a project's lifecycle, they represent new or updated risks that must be formally managed, a key part of the uncertainty and process performance domains. The first step is to formally recognize and document this emerging risk by updating the risk register. This ensures that the risk is properly identified, assessed for its impact and probability, and then becomes part of the ongoing risk management process, allowing for systematic planning of appropriate responses, rather than immediate, potentially premature, action. Question 21. A project is being managed using a hybrid approach, with some components following a predictive lifecycle and others an adaptive one. The project manager notices that communication between the two subteams is breaking down, leading to integration issues and conflicting priorities. The predictive team relies on detailed documentation, while the adaptive team prefers face-to-face conversations. What is the most effective approach for the project manager to improve communication and integration? A. Mandate that both teams adopt a standardized communication method, either entirely predictive or entirely agile. B. Facilitate regular integration meetings between key members of both subteams to share progress and resolve issues. C. Assign a dedicated communication liaison from each team to act as an intermediary for all information exchange. D. Develop a comprehensive communication plan that outlines reporting structures and document formats for both teams. Answer: B. Facilitate regular integration meetings between key members of both subteams to share progress and resolve issues. In a hybrid environment, communication breakdown between subteams with different methodologies is a common challenge impacting the process and team performance domains. The most effective way to improve integration is not to force one method over another, but to create specific forums for cross-team interaction. Facilitating regular integration meetings allows key members from both predictive and adaptive teams to directly share updates, discuss dependencies, and collaboratively resolve integration issues. This fosters a shared understanding and ensures alignment despite differing operational approaches, promoting seamless project work. Question 22. A project manager is tasked with implementing a new customer relationship management (CRM) system for a global enterprise. During the initial planning phase, a key stakeholder from the sales department expresses concern that the proposed system's reporting capabilities are insufficient for their needs, potentially impacting their ability to track regional sales performance. The project manager has a limited budget for customization. What should the project manager do? A. Explain that the project scope is fixed and customizations will be considered in a later phase. B. Suggest a workaround using manual data extraction and external reporting tools. C. Collaborate with the sales stakeholder and the technical team to identify the minimum viable reporting features needed for critical sales operations within budget. D. Document the concern and inform the project sponsor about the potential for stakeholder dissatisfaction with the current scope. Answer: C. Collaborate with the sales stakeholder and the technical team to identify the minimum viable reporting features needed for critical sales operations within budget. When a key stakeholder raises a critical functional concern, especially one impacting core business operations like sales reporting, the project manager must address it proactively, aligning with the stakeholder and planning performance domains. With a limited customization budget, the best approach is to engage in collaborative problem solving. By working with the sales stakeholder and the technical team, the project manager can identify the essential, minimum viable reporting features that meet critical sales operations needs within the existing budget constraints. This focused collaboration ensures that vital requirements are met while managing resources effectively and maintaining stakeholder satisfaction. Question 23. A project team is developing a new online service. The project manager learns that a potential security vulnerability has been discovered in a third-party open-source library that the team plans to use extensively. This vulnerability could expose sensitive user data if exploited. What is the most appropriate immediate action for the project manager? A. Instruct the development team to proceed with caution and implement additional internal security checks. B. Document the vulnerability in the risk register and assign a high impact and probability rating. C. Convene an urgent meeting with the development team and security experts to assess the vulnerability's impact and explore alternatives. D. Immediately halt all development work that relies on the vulnerable library until a patch is released by the open source community. Answer: C. Convene an urgent meeting with the development team and security experts to assess the vulnerability's impact and explore alternatives. A newly discovered security vulnerability in a critical component represents an immediate and high-priority risk, particularly impacting the uncertainty and delivery performance domains. While documenting the risk is important, the most appropriate immediate action is to quickly gather the necessary expertise to understand the full extent of the threat and to determine viable alternatives or mitigation strategies. Convening an urgent meeting with the development team and security experts allows for a rapid assessment of the vulnerability's specific impact on the project and the exploration of a robust, informed response, ensuring that the project remains secure and compliant. Question 24. A project manager is reviewing the project schedule and identifies that the critical path has a significant amount of negative float. This indicates that the project is severely behind schedule. The project team is already working at maximum capacity. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take next? A. Inform the project sponsor about the severe delay and the need for a formal schedule extension. B. Renegotiate contracts with vendors to accelerate delivery of critical components. C. Reevaluate the critical path activities with the team to identify opportunities for crashing or fast-tracking. D. Increase the number of resources allocated to critical path activities, even if it means sacrificing non-critical tasks. Answer: C. Reevaluate the critical path activities with the team to identify opportunities for crashing or fast-tracking. When a project is severely behind schedule, indicated by negative float, and the team is at maximum capacity, the project manager, operating within the planning and process performance domains, must actively seek ways to optimize the existing schedule before resorting to extensions or additional resources. The most appropriate next step is to reevaluate the critical path activities with the team to identify opportunities for crashing, adding resources to specific activities to shorten their duration, or fast-tracking, performing activities in parallel that would normally be done sequentially. This collaborative analysis aims to recover the schedule efficiently and intelligently, leveraging internal expertise. Question 25. An Agile project team has just completed a sprint and is conducting its sprint review. During the review, a key stakeholder expresses dissatisfaction with a feature, stating it doesn't meet their underlying business need, even though it was built exactly to the user story's acceptance criteria. What does this situation primarily indicate? A. The team failed to adequately test the feature against all acceptance criteria. B. The user story itself, despite being technically fulfilled, did not accurately capture the stakeholder's true business need. C. The sprint review meeting was not effective in capturing feedback early enough in the development process. D. The project manager failed to manage stakeholder expectations regarding the feature's capabilities. Answer: B. The user story itself, despite being technically fulfilled, did not accurately capture the stakeholder's true business need. This scenario highlights a common challenge in the delivery and stakeholder performance domains in Agile projects. If a feature meets all acceptance criteria but still fails to satisfy the stakeholder's underlying business need, it strongly suggests that the user story itself was incomplete or inaccurately defined. This means that while the what was built correctly, the why or the true value proposition was misunderstood or not fully elicited during the initial refinement. It emphasizes the importance of continuous collaboration and deep understanding of business context during backlog refinement, not just technical implementation. Question 26. A project manager is leading a business process re-engineering project. The team has identified several key processes that need to be redesigned. Some employees who currently perform these processes are openly resistant to the changes, fearing job displacement or loss of influence. What is the best approach for the project manager to manage this resistance and facilitate a smooth transition? A. Develop a comprehensive training program to upskill employees in the new processes and technologies. B. Communicate the benefits of the new processes for the organization's efficiency and competitive advantage. C. Involve the resistant employees in the redesign process, incorporating their insights and concerns where possible. D. Report the resistant employees to their functional managers for disciplinary action regarding their lack of cooperation. Answer: C. Involve the resistant employees in the redesign process, incorporating their insights and concerns where possible. Resistance to change, especially due to fears of job displacement, is a significant challenge in organizational projects, falling under the business environment and stakeholder performance domains. The most effective approach to manage this resistance is through active involvement. By including the resistant employees in the redesign process, the project manager can leverage their institutional knowledge, validate their concerns, and empower them to become part of the solution rather than just recipients of change. This collaborative approach fosters buy-in, reduces fear, and can lead to more practical and acceptable process designs. Question 27. The project manager for a predictive construction project receives a progress report indicating that the excavation work is 80% complete, while the budget for this phase is 95% expended. The estimated cost to complete, etc., based on this performance shows the project will likely exceed its overall budget. What should the project manager do first? A. Approve the next payment to the excavation contractor, as work is progressing. B. Conduct a detailed variance analysis with the team to understand the root causes of the cost overrun for the excavation. C. Inform the project sponsor immediately about the potential budget overrun and request additional funds. D. Renegotiate the remaining contract terms with the excavation contractor to reduce future costs. Answer: B. Conduct a detailed variance analysis with the team to understand the root causes of the cost overrun for the excavation. When a significant cost variance is identified, especially early in a phase, the project manager, within the measurement and process performance domains, must first understand why it occurred before taking corrective action or escalating. Conducting a detailed variance analysis with the team helps to identify the root causes of the cost overrun, e.g., inaccurate estimates, unforeseen conditions, scope creep, inefficient work. This understanding is crucial for developing effective corrective actions, making informed decisions, and preventing similar issues in future phases. Question 28. A project manager is leading a product launch project. To ensure a successful launch, the team needs specific market intelligence that is available only from an external research firm. The project has a very aggressive timeline and a tight budget. What procurement contract type would be most suitable in this scenario to acquire the market intelligence? A. Cost plus fixed fee, CPFF. B. Fixed price, FP. C. Time and material, TNM. D. Cost plus incentive fee, CPAF. Answer: B. Fixed price, FP. When procuring well-defined services or products under an aggressive timeline and tight budget, a fixed price, FP, contract is generally the most suitable option, falling under the planning and uncertainty performance domains. This contract type places the highest risk on the seller, who agrees to a fixed total price for a clearly defined scope of work. This provides cost predictability for the buyer, the project, which is crucial for a tight budget, and incentivizes the seller to perform efficiently to maintain their profit margin, which benefits an aggressive timeline. Question 29. A project manager is leading an Agile software development project. The team recently implemented a new feature, and during user acceptance testing, it's discovered that the feature introduces a critical defect into an older, previously stable part of the system. This issue was not caught during regular sprint testing. What aspect of the development process should the team most critically review? A. The clarity and completeness of the user story for the new feature. B. The effectiveness of their regression testing strategy. C. The collaboration and communication channels between the development team and the quality assurance team. D. The team's definition of done and its adherence during the sprint. Answer: B. The effectiveness of their regression testing strategy. When a new feature introduces a defect into a previously stable part of the system, it is a clear indicator of a failure in regression testing. Regression testing is specifically designed to ensure that new changes do not negatively impact existing functionalities, which is a critical aspect of the delivery and process performance domains. The team should critically review their regression testing strategy to ensure it is comprehensive, automated where possible, and regularly executed to prevent such unforeseen side effects from new development. Question 30. A project manager is overseeing a complex R&D project with high levels of uncertainty. The project team is highly skilled and motivated but often struggles with decision-making due to the constantly evolving technical landscape. The project manager wants to empower the team while ensuring progress. What is the best approach for decision-making in this environment? A. Centralize all major technical decisions with the project manager to ensure consistency. B. Implement a decision-making framework that empowers the team to make decisions at the lowest possible level, with clear escalation paths for complex issues. C. Engage external subject matter experts for all critical technical decisions to mitigate risk. D. Adopt a wait-and-see approach for uncertain technical decisions, delaying them until more information is available. Answer: B. Implement a decision-making framework that empowers the team to make decisions at the lowest possible level, with clear escalation paths for complex issues. In a high-uncertainty R&D environment with a skilled team, empowering the team to make decisions is crucial for agility and efficiency, aligning with the team and uncertainty performance domains. However, this empowerment needs structure. Implementing a clear decision-making framework that allows decisions to be made at the lowest competent level, while providing well-defined escalation paths for truly complex or high-impact issues, balances autonomy with necessary oversight. This approach fosters ownership, speeds up minor decisions, and ensures that larger strategic decisions receive appropriate attention. Question 31. A project manager is leading a project to develop a new cloud-based analytics platform. The security team has expressed concerns about potential data privacy breaches due to the platform's interaction with various external data sources. The project manager needs to ensure that these concerns are addressed proactively. What should be the project manager's next step? A. Document the security team's concerns in the risk register and assign a high probability and impact. B. Schedule a joint workshop with the security team and the development team to define specific data privacy requirements and design solutions. C. Inform the project sponsor that additional budget may be required to address potential security vulnerabilities. D. Instruct the development team to prioritize security hardening features in the upcoming sprints. Answer: B. Schedule a joint workshop with the security team and the development team to define specific data privacy requirements and design solutions. When a critical internal stakeholder like the security team raises specific concerns about potential data privacy breaches, it requires proactive and collaborative action, falling under the stakeholder and planning performance domains. The most effective next step is to schedule a joint workshop with the security and development teams. This direct collaboration allows for a shared understanding of the specific privacy requirements, facilitates brainstorming and design of appropriate solutions, and ensures that security is baked into the platform from the outset, rather than being an afterthought. This approach fosters mutual understanding and collective problem-solving. Question 32. A project is progressing well, but the project manager notes that there is a significant amount of gold plating occurring, where team members are adding features or enhancements that were not requested by the customer and do not add actual value. This is leading to increased costs and potential schedule delays. What is the most effective way for the project manager to address this? A. Implement a strict change control process, requiring formal approval for any deviation from the baseline. B. Conduct a team meeting to emphasize the project scope and the importance of delivering only what is requested. C. Reinforce the concept of minimum viable product, MVP, and the importance of delivering demonstrable value to the customer. D. Document all instances of gold plating and deduct the associated costs from the team's performance bonuses. Answer: C. Reinforce the concept of minimum viable product, MVP, and the importance of delivering demonstrable value to the customer. Gold plating, or adding unrequested features, is a common issue that increases costs and delays projects, directly impacting the delivery and process performance domains. While scope control is important, the most effective long-term solution is to instill a value-driven mindset within the team. Reinforcing the concept of minimum viable product, MVP, and the importance of delivering demonstrable, customer-requested value helps the team understand that extra features, however well-intentioned, divert resources from what truly matters to the customer. This shifts the focus from simply building more to building the right things. Question 33. A project manager is leading a global project with team members located in different time zones. Communication often suffers from delays in responses, and some team members feel left out of key discussions. The project manager wants to improve communication and collaboration within the team. What is the best approach? A. Mandate a daily fixed meeting time for all team members, regardless of their time zone. B. Implement asynchronous communication tools and establish clear guidelines for their usage. C. Appoint local team leads in each time zone to disseminate information and collect feedback. D. Reduce the frequency of formal communication to avoid overwhelming team members with too many updates. Answer: B. Implement asynchronous communication tools and establish clear guidelines for their usage. Geographic dispersion and time zone differences are common challenges for the team and process performance domains, particularly affecting communication flow. Mandating a single meeting time often disenfranchises some team members. The most effective approach is to leverage asynchronous communication tools, e.g., dedicated project management platforms, shared document repositories, collaboration wikis, and establish clear guidelines for how and when they should be used. This allows team members to contribute and access information at their convenience, ensuring everyone stays informed and can participate in discussions without being constrained by real-time availability, thereby fostering inclusion and efficient information exchange. Question 34. A project manager is overseeing a new product development project. During the execution phase, the team encounters an unexpected technical dependency on an external system that was not identified in the initial planning. This dependency could significantly delay the project. The project manager needs to address this issue. What is the most appropriate first action? A. Immediately update the project schedule to reflect the potential delay caused by the new dependency. B. Add the unexpected dependency to the project's risk register and assess its impact and probability. C. Convene an urgent meeting with the relevant technical teams and stakeholders to understand the dependency and explore options. D. Inform the project sponsor about the unforeseen dependency and request additional resources or budget to mitigate the impact. Answer: C. Convene an urgent meeting with the relevant technical teams and stakeholders to understand the dependency and explore options. When an unexpected and critical technical dependency emerges during execution, it's an immediate challenge to the project work and uncertainty performance domains. The most appropriate first action is to quickly gather the right people, the technical teams involved and relevant stakeholders, to thoroughly understand the nature of the dependency, its actual impact, and collaboratively explore potential solutions or workarounds. This immediate, focused collaboration is crucial for making informed decisions and developing an effective response, whether it involves mitigation, a change request, or a revised plan, before merely updating the schedule or risk register. Question 35. A project is in the final stages of closing, and the project manager is conducting a lessons learned session. During the session, the team identifies several recurring issues related to stakeholder engagement that cause delays and rework throughout the project lifecycle. What is the primary purpose of documenting these lessons learned, particularly at this stage? A. To ensure accountability for past mistakes and assign blame to responsible parties. B. To update the organizational process assets, OPAs, to benefit future projects and processes. C. To finalize the project budget by accounting for all costs associated with the identified issues. D. To inform the project sponsor about the challenges encountered and justify any deviations from the original plan. Answer: B. To update the organizational process assets, OPAs, to benefit future projects and processes. The primary purpose of conducting and documenting lessons learned, especially at project closure, is to capture knowledge and improve future endeavors, which is central to the project work and business environment performance domains. These insights, particularly recurring issues like stakeholder engagement problems, become valuable organizational process assets, OPAs. By updating OPAs, the organization can refine its methodologies, improve planning for future projects, and avoid repeating similar mistakes, fostering continuous improvement and organizational learning.